The video review will start in a few seconds, but as a reminder, remember if you have a question, comment, or a suggestion about this video review, the link is provided on the page below. Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3DGameMan.com and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Thermaltake Commander MS1 Epic Edition case. Now previously I did a video review on the MS1 case, and this one is identical to that, except it has a red front panel, also a red side window, and the interior is red. Now this is kind of like your fire engine red, your ATI red color, and it does look very, very good. Now, as I previously mentioned, this case is pretty much identical to the original MS1 case, which I already did do a video review on, so let's watch that now. This is a mid-tower case. It's comprised mainly of steel, but there's plenty of plastic and mesh on it as well. It's black on the outside as well as black on the inside. And as you can see, while it doesn't have an elegant look, a plain, simple look, rather it has, you know, this kind of robotic Commander space age look. If you like that look, well, you probably like the look of this case. At the top, you can install two optional 120mm fans. And with that being said, you might be able to fit a water cooling radiator up here as well. No guarantees on that, but it's a possibility. At the front, there's lots of mesh, which is great for ventilation. They include three 5¼ drive bays, as well as an external 3.5" drive bay. Included is one USB 3 port, one USB 2 port, a microphone jack, and headphone jack. Here's the power button, reset button, as well as the LEDs for power and hard drive activity. On the left side panel, there's a punch out, a fancy window, and ventilation. Now, this area is really not intended for a fan to be installed, but you can install one here. You can install an 80mm or a 90mm fan. The right side panel has this punch out, and this will give you that bit of extra space behind the motherboard tray to route the cables. At the back of the case, they include a 120mm exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. They include a couple of punch outs, and this is to accommodate water cooling tubes and or cables. They also include 7 expansion slots. 2 of these are ventilated. As well, at the bottom, you can install a standard ATX power supply. And they include 2 thumb screws on the left side panel. The right side panel just has regular screws. It would have been nice if they included 4 thumb screws, 2 for each. They include this bag inside. It has a speaker and a bunch of screws, as well as motherboard standoffs for installing the motherboard, and a few other items inside of the case. The case itself is black on the inside, has lots of cable management holes, as well as a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, but unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable. They include a toolless design on some of the drive bays. To recap, there are 3 external 5¼ drive bays, 1 external 3.5" drive bay, and there are 5 internal 3.5" drive bays. At the bottom, they include a power supply dust filter, and it is removable. You can also install an optional 120mm fan at the bottom. And you can also install an optional 120mm fan at the front of the case. Power supply length will vary because it depends on whether you have a 120mm fan installed on the bottom, but the maximum power supply length would be 300mm. Same goes for the video card length. You can fit a cooler that's approximately 160mm in height. And at the bottom, there are 4 plastic feet. Remember that they only include one 120mm fan, and that one is a blue LED exhaust fan at the back of the case. I think they should have included at least one more 120mm fan and had it at the front of the case. At minimum, you want to have 1 fan intaking and 1 exhausting. But remember that you can install many more optional fans in this case. Finally, let's have a listen to the stock cooling.
budget cases do have a lot to live up to, because the folks who are buying them want a case that looks good, has a long feature list, and is affordable. I think this case delivers on all counts, but keep in mind that they only include one 120 millimeter fan, so you'll have to budget for more fans when you're purchasing this case. But overall, this is a great product. Until next time, take care.